Spirit Island Sunday, Ocean's Hungry Grasp, for 2. Good day, my name is Joe Gerba. Welcome back to Spirit Island Sunday, where we'll be talking about our first high complexity character, Ocean's Hungry Grasp. Now, Ocean's is a little bit different from many of the other spirits, as it starts with a presence actually in the ocean. And your special rules are ocean in play. So you can use the ocean as a coastal wetlands for any of your spirit powers that you play, which means you can gather things into the ocean and drown them, which brings us to our next power. Drowning destroys drowned pieces, so you can place drowned invaders here. At any time you can exchange X health of these invaders for 1 energy, where X is the number of players. So in a 2-player game, for each invader point that you drown or gather into the ocean or somehow get into your area, you can put on your player board and use that as future energy. So this is a really neat special rule that you're really a coastal spirit. You can kind of take care of both coasts while trying to drown invaders to really get your energy, because you may be a little bit energy starved at the beginning of the game, which we'll see in a couple. So let's talk about our growth options, and I'm going to skip the first option for now, and we'll go to the second option, which is add a presence in any ocean twice and then gain an energy. So in a 2-player game, you can put 1 presence in each ocean to kind of spread your stuff out, so you'll be able to gather some of the settlers in your area or drown some of the cities or towns near the coast. So you being a coastal spirit, you'll really want to make sure you get those presents out as fast as you can, which leads us to the next growth option, gain a power card, which is always great when you don't have to do a reclaim to gain a power card. So gain a power card, and you can put a presence 1 away from the coast, which is neat. So some of your powers, which may have a range of 1, or any powers you may pick up that has a range of 1, at least when you start getting into the coast, you'll have a little bit more presence in the inside. And you can also push 1 of your presence from the ocean into the coast. So not only do you get to place one in the coast, you can also push 1 of yours in the coast. So you get that kind of ebb and flow. And as this part, you're trying to push inland, which brings us to the last growth option, which is reclaim the cards, gain a power card, and you have to gather 1 presence into each ocean and 2 energy. So this is that ebb and flow that I was talking to you about. You're going to get presence out with that your last growth option, and bring them back in when you need to reclaim cards. So you may kind of have a downturn when you're taking things back in the early to mid game. Late game, it may not matter as much, but during the mid game, you'll want to kind of have these scattered presence on the coastline, so you'll be able to aid the other person. Because let me tell you, your presence on some of the spaces that are far away from the ocean, the 2 spots that are 3 away, are going to be tough to deal with. So on that note, let's go into the presence track. So we have the presence track. We do have that growth option that lets you put 2 out, which is nice. And you'll really want to prioritize some of the energy per turn, because it gives you some of these innate essences that you'll use, and you'll be able to use those every turn, whether it's trying to get the fear or trying to drown some of the cities and towns. You're never going to get a ton of energy, but remember, when you drown the invaders on the coast, you'll be getting energy, kind of energy reserve to play later. Now, you'll only max out at 2 energy a turn, which is okay. Your starting cards, which I'll go over in a little bit, only have a maximum power of 1, so you'll be able to play all your cards. Depending on which ones you draw, and maybe even get that major power, with your reserves a little bit later, but you'll have to make sure you have the drowned invaders to do that. Card plays, you can immediately start the game off with 2 card plays once you reveal 1 presence on the board, and 1 to 5 kind of on your presence trackers, pretty reasonable for this spirit. So now let's go into your innate powers. Pound ships into splinters. This is just a fear bomb, just in general. 1 fear for the first one, and then once you get up to the 3 card plays, you may get into the 2 or potentially 4 fear. Now remember, these stack, and that's how you're able to get the 4 fear if you can get all of these essences. Now you're only going to start off with 1 card that has 1 purple, so this is going to be tough to get this on a consistent basis unless you get a power card that has a purple. Then you can really stack up that fear every turn. And then we go into Ocean Breaks the Shore. Now this is the really cool one where you're drowning the invaders near the shoreline. However, you do have to have a presence inland to drown it. So it has to be on the space. So as a slow power, range 0 on a coastal region, so that's a lot of stipulations, you can just drown a town. Now on the second level, you can instead drown a city, and then on the third level, if you do get it, you can drown a town or city and another town or city. So it's a really great way to be getting those fear, to be getting that reserved energy, and to really just take care of the coast. Now let's go into the cards. The first one we have Call of the Deeps. It is a 0 costing fast power at range 0, and it has to target a coastal land. It can gather 1, and if the target is the ocean, it can gather another 1 settler. This is great because most of the time you're going to be having a presence in the ocean. You're going to be picking itself, which remember is a coastal wetland that you have a presence in. You can almost prevent 2 builds into an ocean for that turn. If there's a settler in 2 spots and they may build, you can gather those in the ocean, get energy reserve, and really prevent those builds along the coast. This is a great card that'll probably never leave, and remember, this will be your 1 purple presence for the whole game. So this is a great card for 0 and a good way to get energy for future turns. The next card is Swallow the Land Dwellers. Now this is a slow power, 0 range, and it must target a coast. This is kind of neat where you can kind of prevent a ravage on the 3 health kind of invader where there'll be a settler and a town. So this is just straight up drown a settler, town, and a Dahan. Now this is not optional. The poor Dahan, if they are there, sorry, you are gonna get them off the board. However, on the lands that you can't take care of for a slow power, after a settler builds, after a 1 health settler builds a town, and you play this card and be able to get 3 health rid of invaders, with a little bit of foresight, this card can be a great asset to your hand, and especially for 0 cost, not using that precious energy you're going to get. This is a great card. Next card we're going to talk about is Tidal Boon. This is an interesting card. For 1 energy, a slow power. You do have to target another spirit. But that spirit will gain 2 energy and may push 1 town and up to 2 to hand from one of their lands. So they have to have a presence there. It can prevent, a ravage or prevent like a mega build where there may be a city placed on the next turn, but it is a slow power, so it may take a little bit of forethought during the play phase to get this right. However, if any Dahan are pushed into the ocean, so they can push it into the ocean, instead of drowning them, you can move them to a coastal land. So this is a good way to also push Dahan to Dahan from the lands and kind of reposition them on a coastal. So out of all the cards that you're going to start with, this card requires the most finesse and forethought, and also thinking, does the spirit need a little bit of energy for the next turn? Because remember, this is a slow power and they're not going to get that 2 energy until the next turn. So interesting card, does have its place, but kind of difficult to use and really needs a lot of coordination with the other player. The last card is Grasping Tide, fast power for 1. This is a very interesting card. I don't think this one will ever leave. You're never going to trash this one for your major power. And it's a fast power with a range of 1. It does have to target a coastal land. So even if you have presence all in the oceans, you can target any coastal land as long as you have a presence in the ocean. To fear and defend 4. So this is your basic, you want to prevent a ravage and cause a little bit of fear. This is a great card that'll just be that one stopper that you'll always have in your starting hand to really prevent that blight from entering a coastal land. So as you can tell, Oceans has a lot of tools in the toolbox. It has a lot of potential kind of energy gain where it can store energy. Drowning Invaders can really take care of the coast. Gets a lot of presence on the board. However, it really can only kind of take care of the coast, which leaves you with a big swath of inland that you need to coordinate with the other person. The other person really needs to focus on the inland, and we're talking one space away from the coastal lands, especially the 2 places on the map where it's 3 away from the coast. Oceans is going to have a hard time dealing with these 2 lands, so you're really going to have to coordinate with the other person and really have to use those chips that remind us, hey, we're going to be taking care of this and this. This may get a blight this turn if you can just kind of take care of the middle. But Oceans is a powerhouse when it comes to phase 2 of the Invaders, the escalation of the Invaders, and they draw that all coastal lands card. That's going to be your time to shine. So when you play Oceans, you're going to have a lot of options, a lot of growth, but it's all going to be focused near the coast. So I really do like this spirit. I think it's a lot of fun, but you need a lot of coordination with the other person. You need the other person to be able to take care of the middle. They may play the Vital Strength of the Earth and they'll really need to defend, or play the Lightning Swift Strike and be able to, plink off some of those invaders that are going to build in the middle to be able to go at it. And it's just, it needs a lot of coordination. That's why this spirit is high complexity, because you almost need to split the board. Instead of splitting it into 2 halves, you're going to split it into coastal and inland areas. So try to draw a couple cards with some of these purple icons to really get the fear rolling. That'll be another way on the fear cards to try to get rid of the inland spaces. But this is a lot of fun spirit. It takes a lot of coordination, especially with Tidal Boon. Your other 3 cards are pretty straightforward. Drowning Invaders, maybe Gathering Invaders, and then defending 4 with 2 fear. But Tidal Boon is going to be your interesting card. Can you use this properly, or is this a card that you can use properly with the other person? Are they energy starved? Can we help them for next turn? But Ocean's Hungry Grasp is a lot of fun with 2 because it requires a little bit different way of thinking. Coast will be a lot of fun to take care of. I really like this spirit. It's fun and enjoyable to play, but it does have its downsides. So just be prepared to work with the other person and just have a good time with it. Like I said, this is one of my favorite spirits. I really like it, and hope you guys enjoyed the little overview of Ocean's Hungry Grasp, and until next Sunday.